Piers Morgan of Piers Morgan Uncensored recently went on the Trigonometry podcast to, well, talk about his brand new book, Woke is Dead. Unfortunately, that title is inaccurate because woke is still very much alive. We are seeing it, well, play out before our very eyes, aren't we? If you want to consider them to be the woke right now, and even, well, Piers Morgan himself is somewhat woke in many, many respects. He is defending an Islamic organization, Islamic terrorist organization, and constantly attacking and ridiculing people that stand up for the truth. And I'm talking about the likes of Tommy Robinson. Piers does not like Tommy Robinson. Obviously, Tommy and Piers go way back, with Tommy literally destroying him on Good Morning Britain. We all saw that, and Piers did not like it one bit. Piers does not like being humiliated. We can obviously see what happens when Piers Morgan is humiliated on camera. He gets very angry and he holds a grudge. Now, ever since then, Piers Morgan has been peddling lies about Tommy Robinson for quite some time. And when Tommy Robinson recently went away for solitary confinement for a civil offense, not an actual crime, I'll have you know. It was a civil offense for basically contempt of court, which is a bull crap offense, if you ask me. It's only reserved for those people that are the worst of the worst. But of course, Tommy Robinson got it because, well, he released a film that the mainstream media as well as the political people did not like it at all. So he ended up becoming this political prisoner, as it would seem. And that is the truth of it. But according to Piers Morgan, that is not the truth. And according to Piers Morgan, he wants to continuously peddle lies about Tommy Robinson, which Tommy Robinson is more than just Stephen Yaxley Lennon, okay? Tommy Robinson is an idea. Tommy Robinson is a movement. Tommy Robinson are the people of Britain that want change. Tommy Robinson is also people here in Australia and abroad that support a man or a cause that wants to really reshape Britain, Australia, everywhere that the level of wokeness or just complete and utter corruption is taking over. That's why I support someone like Tommy. I support his cause. And recently he joined a political party, which, by the way, if you guys are even thinking about voting for Reform, you should definitely think again. Reform is a joke. Under Nigel Farage, he is just like the Conservative as well as Labor. He's both of them, but he is playing the field. He is not who you think he is. He's a politician. Very, very good at it, I'll have you know. Very good at lying. Very much like Piers Morgan. Now, Piers went on the Trigonometry podcast recently, and, well, he had this to say about Tommy Robinson after being asked by Constantine Kissin, what's your issue with Tommy? Piers, have a watch.
Your issue with Tommy Robinson, Piers, because obviously he's not well liked in the media ecosystem of London, and he's a controversial figure for, you know, he's been involved in street violence and lots of other things. But a lot of people are now saying, and I don't hesitate to say this anymore, a lot of people are now saying he's been proven right about a hell of a lot of things, Piers.
Well, he's certainly not been proven wrong about the grooming gangs. I mean, He was one of the more vocal people about that. There's no question. He's not, as he puts it, the only one that was doing it. There was a very courageous journalist at the Times who recently died, sadly, who led the way with the mainstream media. So it's not true the mainstream media ignored that story, but there was a collective failure of government, of police, and a lot of the media to actually properly go after that scandal. One of the worst scandals of modern times. So that is clear. And Robinson was right about that. I'm not saying he's wrong about everything, but this guy is not the little Mother Teresa walking around in bother boots that he'd like everyone in America to believe. And so many of them have fallen for this mythology about Tommy Robinson. A, his name isn't Tommy Robinson. Probably should send the first alarm bell. B, he's a convicted football hooligan, convicted fraudster. He's been in jail recently, not because he was being silenced from telling the truth about anything, but because he continued to promote and propagate lies about a young Syrian boy, right? And so I watch the way he gets lauded in America and I think, well, this is ridiculous. I challenged him to come on Uncensored again. We had a fiery debate on Good Morning Britain many years ago in which he came on and waved the Quran, which I thought was pathetic, and told him so to his face. So far, he's ducked me. And I think it's because he knows I see through a lot of it. And if he wants to come on and he wants to have a proper sit down with me, and we can get into exactly why he's just been in prison, because it's got nothing to do with what he says he's been a victim of, which is the establishment trying to silence him. No, you lied. You got caught lying. You were told if you lied again, you go to prison for contempt of court. You lied again. You made a film. You promoted it. You came over and promoted it. And you therefore were found guilty of contempt of court, my sunshine. So that's what actually happened.
Firstly, we don't consider Tommy Robinson to be like the Mother Teresa figure that Piers Morgan tries to point out that apparently Tommy Robinson wants people to think of him. No, we actually care about the truth, and that's what Tommy Robinson provides. He's not a lying grifter like you, Piers Morgan. He doesn't do things for clicks. He does things because it's right. That's why people follow Tommy Robinson, because he is authentic and he's not shy about talking about his past. He's talking about the truth. He wants change. I wholeheartedly believe that I see someone like Tommy who has every opportunity to make millions of dollars, every opportunity to do the same thing Piers Morgan and everyone else that is doing, that are attacking him. I see someone like Tommy still do the right thing regardless. And you know what? People are starting to resonate with his message. People are starting to go, well, Tommy's right. He has been right for quite some time. Yes, there were other people that were calling out the grooming gangs. Few and far between, unfortunately. Those grape gangs, if it wasn't for Tommy and many others, I'll have you know, we would never hear about it. But it's because Tommy kept fighting. He saw what happened in Luton. People say that Tommy is the greatest Briton. And I think that pisses off Piers Morgan a lot. Tommy has a lot of support. And those that hate Tommy are just like Piers Morgan. They're jealous. They cannot stand someone that has every opportunity to do the wrong thing like Piers Morgan does and earn millions of dollars, but Tommy chooses to do the right thing. Ezra Levant of Rebel News, Patrick Bet-David, countless people around the world have heard the name Tommy Robinson, have heard everything he's about. He espouses, sure, his past is not great, but the mainstream media lies about him. Piers Morgan lies about him because he's got a bee in his bonnet about him. And just because he's got the name Tommy Robinson, he's not using his actual name, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, does not mean that I don't trust him. It just means that I understand, Jay's not my real name, I'll have you know. That doesn't mean you can't trust me. It means that I'm trying to, number one, protect my real identity. It's got nothing to do with authenticity. Who I am is who I am in real life. My name, however, is my identity. And that's important. Tommy changed his name for a number of reasons. For privacy's sake. It makes a huge difference. When you've got people that search up your real name to try and dox you, sure, Piers Morgan, it's all good and well for you to, have your name out and about because you're not having people trying to dox you or trying to attack you. But the reality is we've got people out there in this world that are crazy enough to hate what we talk about. They want us gone because what we talk about is the truth. You, Piers Morgan, you don't, you just change your mind for clicks. You change your mind willy-nilly. It's hard to follow along with you. We don't actually know what you're really about anymore. It's kind of concerning to me. I want to follow someone that I know is consistent. I have been consistent. I have said many, many times on this show, follow people that are consistent. that are consistent in the truth. Not like Piers Morgan that constantly, he's a fence sitter. It's not good. And I cannot stand lies. I cannot stand people who continuously lie. Piers is a hypocrite. If he bases his whole view of Tommy around saying he lied about some Syrian boy, the UK has lost countless of the amount of scandals and lies. Piers has been caught up in many, many scandals. I accept Tommy has made some foolish mistakes regarding British laws, but does it support the overall message he still brings? I agree. 167 million people watched The Truth, you silly sausage. Tommy Robinson responds to Piers, saying I was lying just makes you look like the corrupt establishment figure you are. Tommy is not just a name, like I said. It's a movement that cannot be stopped by you, by Starmer, by anyone. You're either with Britain or against us. Enough is enough. Tommy has been slandered, he's been smeared, he's been jailed, bankrupt, and physically attacked for daring to point out the inconvenient truth. Mass Muslim grape gangs have been systematically raping English girls for decades while police and media looked away. Meanwhile, Piers Morgan, the self-styled journalist, can't handle said truth because it punctures the glass house progressing to where, by the way, bubbles he sold out 2 years ago. So what's Piers' obsession with smearing Tommy? It's quite simple, really. Stockholm Syndrome for mainstream approval. He's a corporate water boy, a furry mascot, mockingbird, not an actual journalist. He parrots whatever keeps the paychecks rolling from his corporate overlords, and telling hard truths about Islam and grooming gangs isn't in the job description. Cowardice under a suit. Piers knows if he ever gives or gave Tommy a fair platform, the facts would steamroll his fragile talking points, so he clings to the lies, far-right thug, racist, Islamophobe, fascist, you name it, because admitting Tommy was right all along would force Piers to confront his own role in censoring the actual victims. Classist smearing. Piers, a champagne socialist with a pirated red carpet vocabulary, sneers at a working class man who actually victims trust more than any Guardian columnist. Tommy puts his safety and now his family's on the line every single day. Piers hurls insults from his safe studio chair and ill-fitting blueberry Oxford shirt, whose buttons scream as if they're on the torture rack. Hey, Piers Morgan, reality check. Every court case, every leaked report, every whistleblower backs Tommy. While you fluffed pillows with CNN, Tommy was risking his neck with hidden cameras to expose Telford, Rotherham, Huddersfield. The choice between you is as stark as Brigitte Macron's manhood. One man sacrifices everything for grape children. One man sells his soul for elite cocktail invites. Indeed. Now, if Tommy were to even grace the Piers Morgan Uncensored show, I personally don't think it'd be fair, but I still think Tommy would wipe the floor with Piers Morgan. So we wait to see what happens, won't we? Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.